Welcome to the Gorgeous Gray podcast. I am Nicole Scott, your host, registered holistic nutritionist, rest mindset coach, author of the Gorgeous Gray movement, and the co-creator of the Menopause Reset program. In this podcast, we have real conversations about aging as a woman and all the pressure and uncertainty we feel as we head into menopause and beyond. Let's face it, aging is not an easy conversation to have. But I say it's time to talk about the messy middle and offer hope when we feel like giving up on ourselves. Let's talk about our fears around gray hair, our muffin tops, and even our dry, itchy vaginas and everything in between. I will help you reconnect to your feminine energy and offer real solutions from experts in their field to navigate aging as a woman. I believe we, as women, deserve to shine even brighter in this next chapter of life. So with a sense of humor and a lot of compassion, let's dive into these vulnerable conversations. Hello, gorgeous women. In this episode, you get me 100%. I get to dive into the conversation of my menopause journey. I know a lot of people have been messaging me privately, being very inspired by the different podcast stories and, hearing bits and pieces of my story and, why I'm doing what I'm doing. But one of the big requests is we would just like to hear your full menopausal story of journey. And I was like, okay, game on, let's do it. So let me kind of take you back to when I was about 45 years old. I had initiated a divorce. And so I went through a very emotional season, a season of depletion, a season of trying to kind of bring everything in my power to get to a place where I was strong enough to be able to leave a 20-year relationship, my two young kids, buy a townhouse on my own, and set myself up as a new 45-year-old with two young kids and doing it on my own. And with that came a lot of stress, a lot of emotion. And even though I got through it, and I remember going through that first Christmas and having to share the kids with my ex, landing on the couch and going, oh my God, what's wrong with my body? I can't move. I can't get up. I've got no mojo. I don't know, women, if you can relate to that. I got no mojo. There's nothing left of me. Well, that was me. And I'm a nutritionist. And I was like, okay, Nicole, this is what you're supposed to do. But I needed help. I needed some accountability. So I reached out to a good friend of mine, Jen Pike, and I hired her for 3 months, and we were, okay, what do we got to do? So, what had used to work for me in my 20s, 30s, and early 40s, I had to do differently. So one of the biggest things that became very clear is I had absolutely 100% like adrenal fatigue. There was nothing left. I was going through fight and flight for many years in my marriage, and I had just kind of hit a wall. I was like, whoa. So I needed to kind of get my vitality back in my body. So I had to do things differently. So I had to move differently. So this was the old Nicole was used to going to the gym, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days a week. And I was the one that would always sign up for those high cardio classes, right? Like go, 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 go for like an hour, or even sometimes I would do 2 classes back to back. And so I was like, okay, I can't do that anymore. I got to get into more like yoga and walking and maybe Pilates and just like be gentle on my body for a while, because I didn't have a lot of mojo. And I just had to slow down. I start to learn how to say no. And so it took me, I would say, a good 3 to 6 months before I started to feel like better. Like, okay, I'm starting to figure this stuff out a little bit. And I think around that 46 to 47 for me, I remember I was like, why are my pants not fitting properly? And I noticed with like slowly that I was like, oh, I have to get a bigger size pant. I'm like, okay. And at the time you're like, okay, well, that's just one size. But over a year span, I had gained like 35 pounds. about 35 pounds. I think I had weighed more than I did with my second pregnancy. And I think at that point I was like, oh my gosh, like how did I get here? I haven't done anything differently. And ladies, I'm sure that you can relate to my story where you're like, I haven't changed really what I ate or how I work out. And all of a sudden, I've got all this weight on me. And so that is what we call perimenopause. It's leading up to the last period. And so I was in the thick of it. I was getting a little bit of night sweats maybe, but it wasn't too crazy. I would say the biggest sign that I got would be brain fog. Pants didn't fit anymore, the scale. Um, Energy was okay, wasn't like awesome. It was okay, like the mojo. And my periods were all over the map. So my naturopath told me to use an app called the Period Tracker. And so I've been tracking my periods for years. So that really helped us say like, oh my gosh, it was like 11 days and then I'd have my period and then there would be like 30 days. And so I went through this whole process of different periods of 2 days to 5 days to 3 months not having it and then to having it like short. And that went on for years. So, and that probably started at about the age 40, 45. Yeah, about 45, 46 is when my period just started to get everywhere. So it's interesting. It's kind of like almost when my period started to change, which is when our hormones start to go like this, right? Our estrogen starts to decline. That's when you can start to see a lot of the side effects. And so I'm just sharing my story to give women a heads up. So you might be listening to this and maybe you haven't hit it or you're in the thick of it, but at least you know what's going on. So if you go to your medical doctor and they're like, yeah, you're, heading into this phase and it's like, suck it up, or there's nothing we can do about it. This is just a normal phase. I call bullshit because that's not the case. There is stuff that you can do about it. It's just that they're not up to speed about how to work with a woman. So if you have a medical doctor that isn't supporting you at the level that you feel that you need to be supported, go find another health practitioner. Okay, that's really, really, really important. You might have to move on to a functional medicine practitioner or a naturopathic doctor. You might even have to pay out of pocket, but let me tell you, it is so worth it because it can be so exhausting in the medical system if you don't have the right team, the right professional. So one of the things that I coach my clients on is when you are working with a doctor and you are kind of getting into this hormone stage, or maybe you aren't quite there, ask the questions like, how much experience does this particular doctor have when it comes to women and hormones? What kind of tests do they do for, hormones? What are their belief system when it comes to working with menopausal women? Do they just throw them on a antidepressant? Do they just throw them on, HRT? What is it that they do? Because it's really based on their training, which from what I understand, isn't a lot in medical school, especially when it comes to menopausal women, but maybe they have done more schooling. Like the hormone doctor that I work at, she has continued to expand her level of education and she's continuing to learn and to read. And I actually just had my appointment with her. And it's so refreshing to work with a doctor that's all she does is work with women and hormones. And her knowledge of hormones is incredible. Like I'm taking notes, I'm looking stuff up. So I guess my first message, women, is make sure you either have the right team set up or go out and seek the right team. Really, really, really important. Second, I want to say that what you have done in your 20s, 30s, and in your 40s in regards to keeping your weight the way it does, you may need to change that up. So the couple big things that I've learned when I looked at what I was eating is I had to stop, I had to look at portion control. So, you might have been able to in the days get away with, that one bottle of wine with your friends and then like late night eating, like all of that stuff. And the scale, maybe wouldn't move. As you start to change and your hormones change and they go down and your metabolism goes down with it, you cannot get away with the amount of food. So first thing I did was portion control. I actually started to weigh myself just for a bit, just to see. Like I only needed a 4-ounce piece of chicken, which is about 25 to 30 grams of protein. Okay. Anything larger than that, I did not eat. So sometimes you have to maybe reevaluate your plate. What's the size of it? You can even move into the smaller plates, like the dinner plates. Get rid of the dinner plates and just eat off a smaller plate. That's all I started to do, is portion control. That was one big one. The second thing that I started to do is making sure that I had protein at every meal. So when I went back to lose my weight, I did the portion control. I made sure that protein at every meal. So it'd be like a piece of chicken, it'd be like my steamed vegetables, and I would have, let's say broccoli or cauliflower, like the cruciferous vegetables, because it's really good for liver health and detoxification, especially with our dangerous estrogens. So I'm a big fan of your cruciferous vegetables, like your Brussels sprouts. As my kids say, I mean the farty vegetables, Mom. I'm like, yeah, the farty vegetables, but it's worth it because your body needs it and needs those nutrients for detoxification. So then it would be a piece of meat and protein, steamed vegetable, and then a cut up fruit. And I tended to go after kind of the low glycemic items. So like an apple versus a banana, or berries versus mango. So trying to get my sugars under control. So that was another thing too, that what I noticed with clients is their sugars are out of control, or they're reaching almost that pre-diabetic number, and we got to get their sugars under control. The other thing I did that really helped was fasting. So I've never really been a big breakfast person, but it's funny how we can kind of force ourselves to eat because we think, oh, it's okay. But I never really was a big breakfast person, but at times in my life, when I look back, I kind of forced myself to eat breakfast. So I usually don't get hungry until about 10 o'clock in the morning. So I might go for a workout. I make sure that within that hour of that workout that I am putting some good source as a protein in. So this morning I didn't have a lot of time. I had my mushroom coffee, and I put some protein in it, which about 20 grams of protein in it. And I sipped on that to kind of refuel that protein that I need for my muscle growth. So I did that, and then like it's 12 o'clock, I'm getting hungry now. So I'm going to have my protein, my vegetable, and my fruit. And then dinner will be the same: protein, vegetable, and fruit. The other thing is making sure that I'm drinking enough water throughout the day to flush out. And I had to change my workout. So I don't sign up anymore for those like high crazy interval classes. I do kind of HIIT interval, maybe 20 minutes max. I do heavy weightlifting, I do yoga, I do walking, I do hiking, summertime biking. So I've changed up my activity. I'm golfing. I love golfing. So find things that are going to just listen to your body, right? Like I'm going to be 52 on Sunday, and it's almost like you have to have a conversation with yourself that it's okay to change or shift in the different activities that you used to do. It's okay. And I was talking with, I had an acupuncture appointment yesterday with my good friend Cindy, and we were both talking because we were both around the same age. And I said, and she's been working with me for probably 15 years, so she knows me really well. She's gone through the different seasons with me. And I said, Cindy, do you feel like things are changing in your body where you might have been able to get away with like a 3-month, like push to your goals, work morning and night, go, 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 go. You used to be able to do that before you might feel it in your body, or even longer. I go, do you find as we get older, you just can't do that as much because your body will almost like crash faster? And she's like, yeah. I go, I know, me too. And we both had this like aha moment that, as you get into this midlife, 20s, 30s, 40s, even our teenagers, we've been, I don't say brainwashed, but just that we got to go, we got goals, we got responsibilities, and it's go, 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 go. And, obviously there have been moments in my life where I have like hit rock bottom and I've crashed and I can't get off the couch, and you recover and then you do it again. But I don't have that same vitality in my body where my body will be able to do it for long, long, long periods of time. So I've come to the conclusion that it's okay for me when I feel like I need a rest day now, I take a slower day. And I finally have given myself permission that that is okay. And if I have to clear my calendar or move some things around because my body just needs to rest. So I'll give you an example. I've had a pretty busy fall. There's been a lot of stuff going on. I launched my Menopause Reset program, which we'll touch on in a sec. I launched my podcast. I run a huge online business. There's been quite a bit of travel, some unexpected travel, buying a condo, getting ready for that. Like, it's just been a busy season. And I recall yesterday morning when I woke up. I woke up at 6 and I'm like, okay, I got to get up. I got to go do my meditation. I got to get to the gym. I got to work out. And I had nothing. I was like, my body was like, nope, not doing that. Nope. I did get my meditation in. And I'm like, I stayed in my jammies till about 9 o'clock and before I had to get on some calls and stuff. And I thought, okay, this is a great example of me listening to my body. Now, the old Nicole would have pushed through it and said, suck it up. And now the new version of Nicole said, stay in your jammies, enjoy a slower morning, read a book, go back to bed and have a little nap if you're tired. Like, it was a soft, and I needed that because then this morning when I woke up, it's like it was a recharge. So women, sometimes we need a recharge, and maybe we need a number of them throughout the month and not just every quarter. So just tune into that. Other thing that I've learned in my menopause journey is to invest in myself. More and more, I'm investing in myself. That means investing in good food, courses. I just finished taking the metabolic balance program to work more closely with women through blood work and customs. So investing in me, my growth, my personal growth. And the other thing too is investing in the testing, right? So the hormone doctor that I've chosen to work with, yes, she is a medical doctor, but when we're on the phone together, we can be on the phone together anywhere between 30 minutes and an hour to an hour and a half, depending on what we've booked. The medical system will only, I think, pay 5 or 10-minute sessions. So yes, I'm paying out of pocket to get her expertise, but it's so worth it because there's no way I would have gotten this from my medical doctor. I also have the team that I've invested in, right? When I kind of look at my checklist, and I want you ladies to kind of take a checklist of, when's the last time you've invested in yourself? What does investing in yourself look like, right? Really, really important. So my checklist is, in the year, I know that I'm going to do a number of acupuncture treatments. I'm going to do massage. I'm going to do osteopath. There's a beautiful spa in town that I go to for some facial treatments and some cupping. The salt cave, I just did a steam for my vagina. I didn't even know that thing existed, to try that out. Like, I am, reading new books. Like, how important is that? I'm reading the book called The Vagina Bible. I got a couple books on the go, like investing, right? Investing. And then what else have I learned on my menopause journey? It's been a ride. It's been a like, oh my gosh, where did my brain go? Oh my gosh, why is my vagina so dry? Oh my gosh, why, why do I get such bad BO? It's like I go for a shower at night, I wake up and it feels like I've run a marathon because I'm just so sweaty and stinky, and oh my gosh, it's not good. And, I definitely have laughed, I've cried. I'm like, okay, how do we make the most of it? So I feel like I've gotten my kind of menopause symptoms under control, and feeling good. I don't have the brain fog, right? Which is so exciting. Now, some of my friends might have to fill in sentences for me because I'm like, it's there, and I'm trying to like get at it, and I'm sure that women can relate to that. But I'm feeling good. I'm 52 on Sunday. I'm like, I feel strong in my body. I feel strong that I can lift heavy. I've got energy that takes me from morning till night. But it's taken a while to get here, right? And my message to you is that don't give up on yourself, ladies. Menopause is mandatory. It's going to happen. And we can look at it, and I know that there can be some cartoons out there and there's some negative stuff about menopause, and sometimes our partners might not be so understanding, but you know there's amazing mentors out there in the menopause world today. If you just Google menopause on Instagram, there's some beautiful people that I follow to continue to learn, is to embrace this. And there are solutions. So if you've got symptoms and you're not feeling that great, there are people that can help you. So I want to introduce you to the Menopause Reset program that I'm co-partnered with Melissa Hyde, one of my best friends that is a couple years older than me, that also went through her own journey. And we just said, between what you've learned, and you've been a personal trainer for, 30 some years, and I've been a nutritionist for 17 years. We've been both in menopause for quite a while in regards to our journey of perimenopause. We need to teach as much as we can to women. So we just finished our first group that started in, I believe it started in September. It was incredible. We had some amazing success stories of women losing 20 pounds and feeling stronger, and brain fog going away, and and some women maybe only lost 5 pounds, but they have hope moving forward, that they started to understand how to shift differently, how to move differently, how to eat differently. And so our next Menopause Reset program is coming up, which we're so excited, and it's filling up pretty fast, January 16th. So you can get all that information to sign up on my website, NicoleScott.ca. You'll see the whole Menopause Reset and just go through it. You'll see the testimonials. You can read up on all the things that you're going to get. But what you do get is you get myself and Melissa for 8 weeks consecutive. We take you through what we think is the most important topics to know and understand when you're entering this phase, you're in it, or you're post. So the target is really women that can be in their 40s with perimenopausal symptoms, and they can really benefit from our program to really set themselves up. It can be women that are going through menopause, and it can also be for women that are postmenopausal. In our last group, we had that wide range, and everybody benefited from the information. So every week you will get us. It will be recorded, so if you can't attend the live, you get to to watch it at your own leisure. And then we chat as a community every week. People sometimes are throwing in jokes, or sometimes people are throwing in recipes, or some people are, have questions. And so we come together as a community of women in this phase, loving on each other, sharing our results, cheering each other on, laughing, crying, all of that great stuff. And, you'll get like your meal plan. There's a couple different versions of it. There's some, questionnaires at the beginning that you answer. We will introduce you to our in-house naturopath. So if you are struggling and you don't have that health professional that you trust, we will introduce you to Dr. Destia Skinner. She's out of the United States. She's in menopause herself. I've known her for almost 16 years, and she was just the right person to put forward in our program. So a lot of women paid for extra services to work with her on Zoom, get some advanced testing. We use the Dutch hormone panel. So she will send the kit to your house. You will pee. It's based on urine on a strip throughout a 24-hour period. That gets sent back to the California lab. And from there, Destia will book an appointment with you and go through where you're at on your hormones. I highly, highly, highly recommend the test, the Dutch hormone panel. I've had it done twice in my 40s and then just last year. And it tells you where you are in your hormones. Are you in range? Are you out of range? Because then what the doctor can do is put a plan specifically for you. You need to understand how you process your hormones. You need to understand if you are a great methylator or not. You need to understand if you are a great detoxer or not. And this is what this report does for you. And when I did my first one, it empowered me so much because I was not on some of the right supplements for how I process. So I needed to get on that right away. And I remember the first time I dropped my first 10 pounds was because I was on this formulation to help me detox. It was stuff like DIM, which comes from broccoli. What else would have been in there? Maybe milk thistle, green tea. But within a week or two, I had already dropped 10 pounds. And really, it was just water weight because I wasn't detoxing my estrogens. So it was stuff like that that I learned over the years of like, oh my gosh, certain tests are like non-negotiable for us as women. And I wish every woman was able to get this test for free through our government, but that's not the case. You're going to have to pay out of pocket. But that's where I say to women, you need to take control of your health. You need to be your own inner guru and almost like your own inner doctor with your team, right? And that's really important. So that is kind of part of it. And then we have some bonus classes that we're adding to this session, which we're really excited about. We have a sex therapist that's going to teach us about getting connected to our inner goddess, which I'm so excited about. She is a Tantra expert as well. We're going to be learning about how to deal with natural symptoms, our menopause symptoms naturally from another expert. Yeah, there's just so much coming down the road. We keep on, like, I always love how the universe just will put the right people in front of me, and we keep on adding them to our course because we want to find the best experts that we can to introduce them, you guys, to the Menopause Reset ladies. So I'm really excited about that. So anyways, I've been talking a lot. If I recap my menopause journey, it was up and down and all around. I had gained 35 pounds. I'm down 25. I still have about 10 pounds to go. I don't know if my body will release it. I'm going to, I keep on working on, where I'm at, but my body is kind of settled at this weight right now, kind of like a set point. I'm happy in my body. I feel strong and healthy. I fought for her. I fought for the woman I am today. And I can see how easy it is for a woman to give up if you don't have the right testing, if you don't understand, you don't know how to eat properly, you don't know how to move. And so that is why the Menopause Reset program is here to help and support women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s and beyond, to be part of a like-minded community and to get the education and expertise to support you so that you can truly be the best version of yourself at any age. And if you guys heard my last podcast with my mom, who was 70, she is shining bright in the world, and she is a young 70-year-old. And I always like to use that, you can be a young or old at your age, right? Have you ever met somebody in their 50s and you're like, ooh, she's an old 50-year-old? Not in regards to just maybe the way that she looks, but the way that she acts, the way that she shows up, right? Like the saying no to everything and like, oh, that's too hard, or oh, that looks scary, or oh, I can't do this, versus the young childlike 50, 67-year-old who's saying yes to life, who's saying, yeah, I'll try that, let's do it. And that's, I guess, my message to women as I close off this podcast is your menopause journey is going to happen whether you like it or not. And you get to choose that journey with a mindset of going into it going, this is going to be my best years ahead. Now, you may need some help. Some women are going to fly through it and you won't need the help, and you might not need extra hormones or, and that's great and amazing. But about 75% of women need help. They do need help, and you need the team. So go find your team. Consider joining the Menopause Reset program with me in January 16th. Lock arms. It's going to be an amazing wild ride. I cannot wait to continue to help women feel their best in menopause and beyond. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Until next time. I want to say thank you for listening to today's episode. If this message landed for you, make sure to leave a review and tag me, Nicole Scott at Gorgeous Gray Movement, and make sure to share with your friends. You can head over to my free Facebook community, Gorgeous Gray Movement, or subscribe to my YouTube channel for more inspiring interviews. If you are still struggling and need additional support, you can take a look at my website, nicolescott.ca, and learn more about my new Menopause Reset program that I'm so excited for. Until next time, ladies, be well and own your sparkle.